America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
I said we struggle to get it up.
My finger here, with my nail.
That's fine.
I want to hurt myself. Yeah.
I am not a clown.
Before you start gossiping about me, love, scratch your minge, sniff your fingers, because you have got bigger fish to fry.
What the fuck was that about, huh? What's up, you fat pig? What, you don't see where you're fucking going?
I wasn't even driving.
Don't shut the fuck up, you fucking piece of bacon! Why'd I get picked?
My kids were being taken to school, they were subjected to horrendous...
Officers, I've committed no offense. Please.
Please, I've committed no offense, but I hope you are not offended. Yeah, I just wanted to run through a little compilation there real quick of some more emotional things that I'm feeling inside. But hey, look, I was surprised when I joined into my own stream to see such a lovely guest in the background that I figured I would just surprise him and the entire audience by just bringing him out before I even did an intro to the show. So make sure you are liking, subscribing to the video and all that fun stuff. But we've got Ash Maddock here. We might have a couple other people trickling on in just to tell me what the vibes are like the day after from the North London Derby. Again, I said this a few weeks ago, and I think people have mistaken it. Yes, I am in a cult, but my official stance on Ainge is not Ainge in or Ainge out. It's simply Ainge.
Aside.
That's all I got, Ash. But how are you doing? Where are you at? What they want to box you in. They want to put everyone into a box. They say you're this, you're that. We were having a great discussion after the show we just did over on Durag Diaries. Make sure you are subscribed. Look, Jordz is like 40-50 away from 1K. So make sure you go over and subscribe to Durag Diaries. Myself, Ash, a couple others of us. We do the boardroom talks over there. So make sure you do subscribe. Oh, look, he just joined us as well. I didn't even know you were joining. I was just giving you a cheeky little plug saying y'all need to get on over there and subscribe to Durag Diaries.
I was going to make sure I pulled up for a bit, most definitely, man. Yeah. We know what it is. We saw how the show ended. As for some of the people that were in there, we had a lot to say. Jacob had a lot to say at the end, so I thought.
Yeah, I know. I have a bad problem where something will strike something in me. I'm like, no, I gotta just say this real quick, and half the time it's not real quick at all. So I apologize about that. But thank you for joining. Make sure you, real quick, I will be putting it in the description. And in the title, I'm gonna put everyone's channel in there. Make sure you are subscribed. But Jordz is like less than, I think, like 50 away from 1K, somewhere around there. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to hit that by the time he wakes up or by the time the show ends. But look, Ash, I was asking you, I'm gonna box you in. Even though I like to say, if you box me in, I become a parallelogram, which is kind of like a box, but not really. What say you? Where are you with Ainge? Where are you with Tottenham? What are the vibes like?
No, I'm joking. So right now, obviously the vibe's low, the mood's low. We just lost. But it is what it is. I said it before, and I'll say it again. You have to put the realism into it. I looked at about 6 of those players, and it was their first ever NLD, their first ever North London derby, and it showed the pressure, the nerves, the way they were playing within themselves. I could see it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to take it away from Arsenal. I know people don't want to do that, but I have to be real. Arsenal did their thing. They pressed us. They locked our midfield up, and we had nowhere to go, nowhere to.
I really didn't think they were that good.
I'll be honest. That first half is that first half. I know people have a different stance.
I think it was the first like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Like I don't think like other than the goal, which I thought was against the runner play, I think they had us pinned in. If I'm being totally honest. So some people might say, you know, Ange adapted, and when we kicked off, I don't know if you clocked it. When we kicked off, we kind of went direct. We tried to kick the ball in their half, and we tried to do our thing where we kind of keep the other opposition pinned back. But they won the ball back really quickly, and then after that kickoff, it was all Arsenal. It was all Arsenal. And I think it was down to the tactics personally and down to the players that Ange picked. Some people would say, you know, he did right by having Bergvall, Basuma, and Sarr in midfield. I felt it was quite samey in terms of
who would you have done?
Kulu could have gone in there, but I do understand why Johnson was there at the same time. I know you don't like Maddison, but he's just a different profile to those other players. Those players, for me, they like the ball. They like to carry the ball. They're all three players.
No, I'm thinking about Madison. I'm going to yell. I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in.
We got.
I just have to say, I am with Ash on this because I said it in pre-game that we need to start Maddison.
I think I saw your tweet about it too, Jordz. To be fair,
the profiles that we're bringing
before the match started,
they want the ball and they carry it. And they take too many touches, and then they lose it. They can't beat their man. Sometimes you need someone that's a little bit deeper that can pass through the lines, that can find the attackers. Do you understand? And I get it. You hate when Madison's pointing and doing this, but he needs runners. He needs people running into space. He needs someone coming short, someone going long. And so he does a little wall pass, a little short pass, and then runs off them and can get up the pitch higher up and dictate that way. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I play with players like that. And it like we argue all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? Be there. Like they think they're a coach. Go there. Da. It's just
I don't mind that. I don't I don't like most. Sorry.
Yeah, no. You don't like. I get it. You don't like the the whining. If he falls on the floor too easy,
get your bitch ass up.
He's not physical enough. Like that's the only thing I don't like about Maddison. Maddison needs that more physicality. You know, sometimes a player wants to challenge you. I want him to ride that challenge a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? So then that helps us because even Richarlison's like that. Richarlison used to get the ball, even though Richarlison the ball wouldn't stick to him. The only way he would keep possession is by falling on the floor. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the difference. Whereas Maddison could get on the ball and then he might drop a shoulder and then he might do a pass around the player with the outside of his boot and then do something else. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Richarlison, it breaks down. You can see the difference between Richarlison and Solanke. Even though with Richarlison, there are some pluses. When he's on that left-hand side, when he did come on, he did do a good cross into the box, which Son didn't really do, in my opinion. I didn't think Son was really asking enough questions when he was out wide.
A lot of people were upset about that Son substitution. Some people, because I did the second half watch along, and there were people. I was like, Son, really? Son, you're subbing Son off? That seemed weird to me. It seemed like maybe someone else could have maybe gone off for Richarlison. I didn't think Solanke was having the best of games yesterday, but
you're stuck in that there because Solanke was getting locked up by Gabriel, in my opinion. Like, he didn't really do too much. I know it was Gabriel and Saliba at times. It was two centre backs on him, but it was mainly Gabriel I saw on him. Do you know what I'm saying?
The best defensive partnership in the league is what I'm told. So like, it makes sense you would struggle, right?
I think you've done a good job, but I think it's been a problem for Solanke a lot of the time this season. He's not a hold-up play player. He does have he can do the job with the hold-up play, you know. But when he's trying to pin a defender and be strong, get his arm back on there, get the ball in his chest, receive it. And you need that player to hold the ball for a couple of seconds. Usually a strong player, like a Lukaku, he can just keep the ball on his foot, just stand on the ball for a second, maybe ball roll it a few times. And that's a proper hold-up play, even like Olivier Giroud. But Solanke doesn't really have that about his game. I feel like we're forcing him to do it. And you're seeing a lot of the time when he has bigger defenders up against him, he hasn't got the physicality. So he's just straight up getting bullied.
I would just say that he's better than Richarlison at doing it. Do you know what I'm
100%. I think Richarlison's...
And I think that's where the fan base was like, oh my days.
Richarlison's first touch is horrendous. So that's where it goes wrong. But I think Solanke has that issue a lot of times as well, because especially when we're trying to counter, we're trying to transition, we get the ball into him, and his first touch is to try to take it away from the defender. But it's loose. It's going left. It's going right. It's just falling into open spaces. And yesterday that happened quite a bit. I think that there is a bit of like you said, or I think Jay may have said that those players are suffering from just being tired. I think Solanke and Kulusevski are the two players that you can definitely give grace to on that side of things.
Porro has played the most minutes.
Porro is, but I don't feel like
he's most minutes out of all the.
He has, but I think with Porro, it's bad decision making. I don't think it's
I agree
that's the difference. Whereas I think Solanke and Kulusevski, if they just had more energy at times, they would do more. They're going to be more proactive. But they just yesterday they looked really leggy at times. Solanke, when he's trying to do stuff, the first touch is poor, and then it's just going loose.
So would you rotate them against Everton then? Because Everton's coming up, and then that'll be another game that they've started, and then again mentally.
And should have been rotating these guys against Tamworth. They shouldn't have played a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Even though it looked like we needed to bring them on, they shouldn't have played a minute. He should have started with a more competent.
Oh, it's almost like the other players should have done their job, right? You know, like
I think
been better than part-time footballers.
That's part of it, but I do think that. And for me, as much as my position on Ange, I do back Ange and I back quite a lot of the decisions he's made, but the continuance of forcing Werner into the team and playing Werner in matches when he pointed out that Werner's not given the intensity and the effort required. But we know we have Mikey Moore available. We know we have academy kids that can come on and give us more and give us the passion needed to play for the badge. You've got to start using them, especially in a game against Tamworth like that. I think that game against Tamworth is what killed us going into this Arsenal game. Because, for one, Arsenal had played 120 minutes against Manchester United. We thought we were supposed to take advantage of that. The fact that Arsenal had played a whole extra.
We had to do 120 with Tamworth
away.
We
then had to go away from home to Tamworth in a small pitch and play 120 minutes.
There's not a lot of room to operate. You know what I mean? I heard the quarters are very tight, and there's you got to be, and then they racially abuse their own players, and then the club doesn't make a statement until one of the players has to make a public statement about the club not making a statement, and then they retroactively make a statement. But I guess we could save that conversation for another time. I do agree. You should have. I feel like they should have used that embarrassment of Tamworth as motivation into a North London derby, and it was like the opposite happened. So I do agree with that. Let me bring in Eli here. Hello, Elijah. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to have you on. The first question I've kind of thrown around. Well, I guess I didn't even ask Jordz. So I'll ask you after this, Jordz. Which is the same thing. Kind of just where are you with Spurs, with age and everything. And big up Zapur, big up everybody who, I guess my poll was kind of shit today. There's nothing positive to pick from. Because for me, I don't know. I don't want to say I feel nothing inside anymore. It's kind of like a dramatic, like, oh, I broke my leg. But, you just took a hit in the leg. It's kind of like that. I, of course, feel a lot of things like love, joy, and excitement because I have a beautiful family and look at this beautiful panel. But, yeah, in the sense of like, I'm just so, that's my... I didn't want to do sigh. That seems like a weak answer. So make sure you're getting your vote in the poll. Let me know how you're feeling. But how are you feeling right now, Eli? What do you, where are you at, man?
I want to know who Eli would have gone for on the Arsenal derby. Like, who would you have started in that midfield as well? I want to know that.
Okay. And
Madison for sure. Yeah, I would have started Madison.
So him rolling around the floor on his belly in 20 minutes, that's what you wanted? That's what we asked for?
Yes.
That's like asking.
I would have started Maddison, belly rolls and all of that.
Doing his Beach Boys impression. He's on the
all of that
surfboard. Oh shit!
Everything would have started him. Definitely, him in the North London derby is something we really need. That's something I would have done. But in general, I'm feeling dejected, man. I ain't gonna lie. I put myself on the line, man. I was going in stream saying we was gonna slap them, man, because them man are dead, and we got slapped.
Yeah, me too.
It was a long day, man. I had people coming my stream clouding me. It was a long day, man. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would have started pretty much the same lineup we had played against City way back when, which feels like an eternity now since we played that well. But I would have had Maddison and Kulu out there, try and protect the ball, try and have players in. Because even when Maddison came in, like going forward, it wasn't really a threat. But in terms of just keeping the ball, we were able to keep the ball, and actually, like, Arsenal had to drop back a little bit at times because they were trying to press, and we had Maddison and Bergvall in there. Obviously, Archie was there as well, and they were pinging the ball. So there were times where Arsenal would try and press, were pinging the ball, and then they'd stop and they'd drop back. So it felt like more of an even game as such. Just Arsenal had more threat in the box than us, which is crazy because they got a German up front. So that's crazy in itself.
I mean, Raheem
I'm
Sterling,
dejected.
I think he could have had 2 goals himself as well if he was not
Yeah.
so bozo in the box. And then
Yeah,
Odegaard
man.
was like 6 yards out, and he was near the near post, shoots it far post, and it goes beyond the far. I actually thought it was
I don't
harder to
know
miss
how.
from where Odegaard shot that from than
I'm telling you, and
where he
that's why I
did.
thought we'd get something, because them man are gunners that fire blanks, fam. They ran out of ammo. So that's why I
Yeah.
thought we'd really get something, because I knew they were going to waste chances.
Well,
We knew that they're dead food, especially up front. They just have a bit of physicality
I'll say
in the
this:
back, and
an abused
what's up.
dog still gets scared at the fireworks, even though it may not be gunshots. The abused pup
I
still.
know, but
So I think
Cersei
that's
done laying that man down already, fam. So that's why I was like, yeah, the emotions are gone, bro. But it was peak. We got screwed over. I'm not gonna lie.
So, all right. So you answered Ash's question. You would have started Kulu and Madison in there. And you just kind of, are you just kind of floating in the ether right now with it? Are you angry? Are you, where are, because I'm really trying to get the general sense. I feel like everyone's in like this, just kind of floating here, and some people are more angry about it than others. Some are more excited. It's like we're all in a boat that crashed, and we've all just realized like, well, you know, this is what it is. I still think that, like, I wouldn't sack Ainge right now, personally, but you lose those 2 matches that are 5 days apart or something like that, and you effectively go out of both of those competitions. Well, then the question needs to be asked, and I would think the question's already answered at that point. But do you want Ainge out? Are you Ainge out? What do you? I feel like I saw one of your videos that said Ainge out.
At this point, I think so. Just because like I don't see a light at the tunnel anymore. Like for me, I was one of those people that would just take mid-table and a trophy, and I was like that very much at the start. But the reason I would have taken that is because if you're winning a trophy, considering especially who Tottenham have played, especially in the Carabao Cup, like we're playing Liverpool right now. If we get to the final, we'll play probably Newcastle, played City and United for whatever that's worth. So being able to get past that caliber of competition, you would have to assume that the not only is the system working, but the players are buying into the system, the ownership's backing the manager and this system. Like there has to be a lot of factors that you'd assume to be the case in order to win a trophy and go through the teams that we're going through. But right now, it just looks like we're winging it. Like the players are regressing. The system seems to be regressing, or people are finding it out. I can't even tell the difference anymore. Everything just seems to be regressing. Like these are the same players that almost got Champions League last year. And now we're Crystal Palace on goal difference away from being with Everton and them. Like this is how peak is getting in the space of one season.
We're 2 points below a team that's goal differential is minus 14. Minus
Literally.
14. That is like I was live post match, and it was like how I was just literally thinking, I was like, I guess that means they must win like a 1-0 and then lose 5-0. Like how does that? Well, I don't. But then you look at it, they didn't win that many games, so it's
the inverse of Spurs' goal difference, man.
This is what I'm saying, Jacob. I think it's been inflated because when we do beat a team, we beat them by 4. Do you understand? And that inflates our EA. Do you understand? But if you actually look at it, and I know people will say, "Oh, we only lost by 1 goal to Bournemouth. We only lost to 1 goal by Ipswich. We only lost to 1 goal to Crystal Palace." Some of those games I've just mentioned, especially Bournemouth, in my opinion, that scoreline does not reflect the actual game itself. I saw a lot of chances when I thought, "Oh no, Bournemouth about to do you know what I mean?" It was that kind of feeling. So
there's a lot of teams that's happened to be honest. Carbag too. Who was the I don't even remember who was the before them that we played. Carbag, Whataburger or something.
Couldn't even tell you, bro.
Ferger Oh no, but I remember I posed it like this. This really got the Chicken Little and all the other the triage of little groups that I've subsectored people. So I've got the Costco guys. We've got the Chicken Little boys, and then the Wham Wham Brigade. And they all hang out, and you know I like to hang out with the Wham Wham Brigade from time to time. Ash, you know that I like to complain when we didn't sign Kudus, Diaby. There's always a bunch of players we don't sign that I go Wham Wham. We all go Wham Wham. There's nothing wrong. People, Elijah, I'm just going to digress for a second because there's something you said in your video that I really appreciated because I think a lot of people miss there's times when I'm serious and times when I'm hugely sarcastic and satirical and people. So I was like, yeah, man, we went out there and we stomped the Real Madrid of Hungary or the Man City of Portugal was Fenerbahce. Is that what I said they were? Something like that. So I like to, embellish and have fun, and it's slightly funny and satirical. I think that and as serious as I could possibly be.
Yeah. People don't know what the line is when it comes to sarcasm. That's what it is. It's what it is. It's really an American versus English thing. Because one of my best friends is American, so it's like
maybe that's you just pick it up.
I don't even think it's that though.
Because Jordz knows, Ash knows.
I just think because obviously we're involved in YouTube, we understand that there's certain times, especially the way I see it. Anyways, we're representatives of our club. People see us as your Spurs representatives. So especially when you're speaking to some people, or when we're on shows where we're doing some moments, we're representing the club. We're trying to keep our club in a good light as much as we can, and we're gonna say some things in tongue in cheek like that, and big up the Man City of Portugal. It's just things you say, man. Some things are gonna be said in the moment. We're entertainers, like that's just part of it. We're trying to entertain you guys.
But like this comment, and I stopped here for a reason, because like for me, I know, and I said this on Durag Diaries earlier, which make sure, again, you go to the description of this video, subscribe to Durag Diaries. He's almost at 1K. Subscribe to both of Elijah's channels. I got both of them in the chat. And, of course, Spurs Kings TV. But if you're here, you probably know Spurs Kings TV, because that's where we learn who our new players are, who we should sign. And then I get angry that we don't sign them. Why haven't we bought Locko yet? Well, there's one day you showed me 2 left backs. I was like, get them both in right now. And I would like 1, please. But anyway, make sure you subscribe to everyone. Like, I take it personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, when rivals do it, I feel like they're fulfilling their role. But as I explained yesterday, we lose. I get people coming into my chat, Spurs fans, that are literally doing the rivals' jobs for them. They're coming in, you Ainge cult twat. That's what you get, Ainge. Like, and I talk with Sava, and he gets the same shit. Win or lose, he gets it. Oh, fuck you. You said we were going to win. Oh, fuck you. You said we were going to lose. It's like, there's no like, hey, we're Spurs fans and we won. It's just always, if you said this, it's fuck you. If you said that, it's fuck you. So it's like, to me,
I understand it though, because I feel like there's a lot of people, especially what I've noticed more often than recent, is I suppose in our fan base, it's been growing heavily, is that there's people that are so against everything about the club. I sit there and wonder, are you even fans of the club? And
they literally talk to me like an Arsenal fan would. So how am I not supposed to know?
Jacob, I get to that point where I need to go to these people now. When we win, I'm like, oh shit, Spurs won. Are you happy? Because I need to know. Do you get happy?
I do agree with that. I do agree with that to a degree.
There is that notion where people are so negative.
You know what it is?
That's a good point.
But it's like they don't get overexcited because their fear is that the next game a loss is on its way. It's a sad way to kind of look at things. But I think because it depends how much you've been through trauma, because there might have been a situation where, boom.
I've been in a few car wrecks, but I don't think I'm getting in a wreck every time I get behind the wheel.
No, but it might have been a situation where you might.
That's Chicken Little. That's Chicken Little boys. That's what I'm talking about.
But do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, as a younger, you might have been like, all right, dad's coming home, innit? I saw dad, and dad came home last week, innit? I'm gonna see dad next week. I will. He doesn't show up next week. You're a bit pissed, innit? You didn't see dad next week. But then when you see him the following week, you're happy again. You know what I'm saying? You're happy, like, yeah, dad come. And then he disappoints you again. He lets you down again. You know what I'm saying?
I love how as a black guy, you brought up a dad for that.
You know that
I came from a broken home myself, so I was like, there was a moment where I was like, where's dad going? Why isn't dad come home?
Like, nah, man. No, but listen, you can relate. But listen, you don't like that Wilson scene when he goes, why don't he love me, man?
Yeah, Daddy wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm trying to say.
Take me to the fair. Come on, I love that song.
When he takes your trust, you're like, fuck daddy. I don't need a daddy. I don't need him. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
So everyone has their little threshold, their little breaking point with their club. You know what I'm saying? We've all got our own little relationships, and that's why I would say some people will gravitate to this clique or this group more. And some people will group together with these type of people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because they've got more in common. They share a similar pain. You see what I'm trying to say? Similar culture. It's like a culture within a culture. Am I making sense? You get it? So I think that's where the divide happens. Football's so like diverse. People see Like
it's very relative. I agree.
Exactly. You watched Arsenal game. You were like, first half, I thought we played well because we sat back, we defended well. Second half, I thought it was more chaotic. Whereas other people thought, I think Arsenal dominated the first half. And we
that's exactly
out of first half.
Yeah, of course.
For me, all of it pissed me off. I was pissed the entire. Sun scored, then I wasn't pissed.
So there's so many nuances that we can't even, as a panel, we would all see different things. Different things will stand out.
But you know what my thing with that is?
But why are you in a cult if I think different? Why am I?
Jacob, is I always say, I even put out a tweet the other day, and I said, people, please stop telling some people, like, stop policing how someone should support their team. Everyone's going to support their team differently. But I think the negative side of people, they are like the police. They want to police everyone supporting the team. So if you are positive, it's like, no, you're an idiot. Why are you positive? That's wrong. Like, everything being positive is wrong. Whereas I sit here and I say, everyone that's negative or being negative about the club, especially right now, you're right to feel the way you do. I don't think you're wrong. If you're Andrew out, cool, I understand. There's a lot that's gone wrong. I get it. I'm just not with you. I don't have to agree, but I get it. But those people don't understand why you're Andrew. They can't even fathom it.
It's how you handle certain things, how you handle setbacks, how you handle information, like what information do you allow yourself to take in as well. And then also, without even realizing, you're making narratives in your own head every day. For example, I might look at Maddison and I might think, actually, Maddison's the type of player that he's kind of gets on the ball, he's creative, he's a 10. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't think the manager's getting the best out of him playing deeper because I don't think he's that type of player. Whereas someone else might look at Maddison and think, he's that egoistic type of player. He wants to be on the ball all the time. He's too showy, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't work hard enough off the ball for me because he's got glass ankles. Look at him, always gets injured. And also there's a narrative that maybe fans that had seen him before, they might even program that into your mind as well. So that might be affecting your judgment on what you see him as. And so like, there's where the divide happens. Like, we can't agree on a single player. Like, let alone a coach, do you know what I'm saying, or a manager, because now it's like he's not a manager, so he's not a coach, he's a manager. Do you know what I mean? So there's that whole kind of like nuance. Well.
People don't know what they want. That's the thing. Like, I feel like people, the reason they want to police other people is because when you think of like a stance, or when you take a stance originally, you usually think you're right. And a lot of the times it takes research and listening to other people before you change your mind. So some people who may come up with something and they have their reasons for it, which could be valid reasons, but any opposition or any other side, they may just try to fit you in a box. And that's where you hear a lot of Ange cults. They're like, I don't call people who are Ange in a cult. Like, that's just kind of weird. But for a lot of people who might be Ange and have that kind of opinion,
I like to lean in to just be funny and like ironic.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of like, I made a joke. I was just like, if you're not in the cult, it's because you were too ugly and we didn't let you in. Just kind of like what is that, Mean Girls? Where they're like, we're in the cool girls club, but you're an ugly bitch and you can't get in. Like, so I try
sometimes you got to lean into
take it light and lean into it. Yeah, it's kind of
the less value it has. So the more you lean into it, the better it kind of is in order to get rid of the word. Yeah, it's just people just try and fit you in a box. Like, it happens all the time. Happens in real life. Happens online. People,
that's funny you just say that because that's how I opened the show with Ash. I said, I'm going to try and put you into a box, even though when people try to put me in one, I say, I'm not a box. I'm a parallelogram, which kind of looks like a box, but not really is it's not a box, and you don't want to put your belongings in it. I do. We got to talk about it.
Go on.
I used to call him Hymus, but he lost that fucking privilege a long time ago, and it didn't start this year. James Maddison. That motherfucker, dude. Anyone who wants to tell me? Okay, now I'm going to pose this to y'all. Who's going to say here to me right now that they don't like the way Bruno Fernandes conducts himself, but they want Maddison to play for this team? Because they're the same thing. One's just got buck teeth and he's Portuguese.
No, I think they're very different. I will say that. I think they're very different. And
they're
Bruno, we have to be honest. Bruno's definitely the better player. There's no doubt about that. Maddison's missed the 33%.
GA.
Even without GA, we've got to talk about Bruno.
No, Bruno's a GA merchant. For playing shitty, he gets GA.
He is effective in the final third. I know at times he does play some grenade football and he's constantly trying to launch it forward, but that's what we miss, I think, in our team. If we had a player who was in the midfield, constantly trying to play through the lines, constantly trying to play forward, trying to play the ball over the top, we would be a lot better attacking. We would break teams down quicker. We'd move the ball in transition quicker. Like Ash highlighted. Oh, bloody hell, the Hearts.
Oh, you did. Mountain Bush Man. I didn't want to interrupt and say Mountain Bush Man, but bigger Mountain Bush Man.
Nah, it's cool. But like Ash highlighted, we have so many ball carriers in our midfield. We lack someone who can just play it straight through the lines, because I think Jay said it on the last show as well. The ball moves quicker than a person will. So it's a lot quicker and a lot more efficient with the ball to transition by playing it just quick. And I think Bruno does that so well. Maddison, like someone highlighted in the last show as well, he's trying to be a playmaker now. At Leicester, he knew his role was to get the ball into Vardy, find Vardy through on goal, or you're going to make it happen and take the shot from 25, 30 yards out yourself. And we saw him scoring scream after scream after. He was constantly doing shot creating actions. But at Spurs, he doesn't do that in the final third. He's not trying to create shots for himself. He's trying to do 1-2s, and trying to play it all the way into the box so we get an easy tap in from the byline.
Jordan, is that not by design?
It's by design that the manager wants the players to get the ball to the byline and then cut back. That's the way to sort of he plays and the way he breaks down teams. But I do think that there needs to be a bit of, that like Mr. Boxer said in the last stream, Jed Spence, that arrogance to just, you don't need to listen to the manager. You have the football IQ and you know what you need to do yourself in moments. Jed Spence doesn't play the same way as Porro or same way as any of our other fullbacks, because he plays
like the best fullback we have.
And because he knows how to play ball himself. He's played under so different managers. He knows what's best
Jed
for him.
stocks are up, bro. So I invested early.
I love it.
Yeah, he's going to do the inverted role.
In his
if you noticed a lot yesterday,
he overlapped.
He overlapped because he knew that he's always going to beat his man on the overlap. But
Jedi game, come on, hey.
I don't know what it is with Maddison. I thought Maddison had more ego, and I thought we would have seen more from this, but he just shies away from the moments. He doesn't have no ego.
He laid, bro, you have been on the pitch for 20 fucking minutes. You didn't start because you've been playing like a pussy. And he's got, like, again, and now let me differentiate something, because I said something on Durag Diaries, and there's a guy who hadn't commented the entire time I was watching or on the panel. But as soon as I said, fuck James Maddison, that English biased prick, then someone was like, who the fuck is this guy? James Maddison is so sexy and scintillating and all these. I was like, okay. So let me differentiate. It's fine. He's top performer in certain statistical categories, whatever you want to pull. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about how you act as a fucking dude on the pitch. You're acting like a bitch. When I go to a function with a crew, I ain't pulling up with no bitch. And when I see James Maddison on his belly going like he's doing a goddamn Beach Boys ad, it's like, surfs up, dude. Let me fucking you start on your stomach and you fucking breaststroke. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You've been on the pitch for 20 goddamn minutes, and at the same time, I'm looking at Brendan Johnson huffing and puffing like he ran a marathon. Like, that's another topic. But James Maddison, like, he has quality, and this is why I left this comment up. So someone, a Leicester fan or something, said this, and Tottenham fans found it, and they've ran with it, and I agree with it. They call him Mr. 33%, because 33% of the time he's quality. He's a great player. Then 33% of the time he's injured, and the other 33% of the time he's just not good. And I've just more
warned me about this last season. Gooney, I remember when he was having that great run, when Spurs were going, it was this time last year, and he was going, your boy Maddison. I'm telling you, he's going, because this is when Odegaard was born and he had the turning form. He's going, your boy Maddison started to disappear. Mr. 33%, the rumors are true. And I was going, nah, I'm telling you, he's going to come back. And lo and behold, he had 6 months of rubbish. And then a couple good games. He's had about 5 good games this season. Outside of that, trash.
I bought Matacoin last year. I invested heavily in Matacoin, the cryptocurrency that bitch ass was selling. And you know what? That first 10 games, I was like, he's better than Odegaard. He's better than Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, I'll laugh at you for comparing him to Bruno Fernandes. Now, bro, he is our English Bruno Fernandes.
No, that's respect.
I bought Matacoin when I thought I was like business is about to be booming. And then he got hurt, and I was still hung on to my Matacoin. I said, "Don't worry, he'll be back." And then he came back, and that was, that 33% of being injured was over. So then began the next 33% of not being good.
So what
Go ahead,
you're
Ash.
saying is you would sell Maddison this January, not January, so this summer. This summer you would get rid of.
I feel like by benching him the way that he has, and then he did the whole Daddy took my hot chocolate away.
I don't know. If you're like the number 10, remember he got handed vice captain. He was like meant to be.
He got handed Harry Kane's shirt. That was mistake number 1. That pissed me off. And then I did like the bravado though, because he was like, they're like, oh, that's a big shirt to, it's going to be a big shirt to fill. He's like, oh, it's just a medium or whatever, because he's a dainty little man, and grown men wear extra large in America. Anyway, it's okay to be a dainty little man. God made you how you're supposed to be, you beautiful bastards.
No,
but
this is nasty,
my point is, I like the bravado of him being like, hey, it's actually a medium, mate. And I was like, okay, I kind of like that, but I didn't like, first of all, how quickly someone else was wearing the number 10. Am I wrong for that? Is that weird? Is that weird of me? I've always been kind of weird about players and their numbers and stuff, like since I was a kid. Maybe it's autism.
Fair,
I don't know.
Like the NBA and that jerseys get retired, so like Harry Kane would have had his jersey retired if it was an American
I didn't
sport.
want, bro. Just give me a year with no number. No, it was too
To be
soon.
fair, I don't know if you know, Bellingham's jersey got retired at Birmingham.
Yeah, it got retired in Birmingham. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That shit means something to people, man.
We didn't win nothing though. That shit ain't getting
bro,
retired.
Harry Kane, when he got the number 10 and he became like Harry Kane, it was like,
I'm saying this though, like,
and then
if
we
you're
just give it to him.
the main man, or you're meant to be, you're coming in and like the club saying like, "Bro, we want you to be the guy," and you're the marquee signing. Yeah, they're saying, "Look, Jacob, you're the big guy, and we're bringing you through." And then obviously the season you come in, you start well, and you're literally everything's going through you. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's like, you're the main man. All of a sudden.
Talk to me nicely, or don't talk to me at all, is what I would say.
That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, those privileges get taken away, bro. And then now you're holding bench. Oh, you gonna feel all right, bro. I'm trying to say, you're now becoming the water boy, the bus boy. After you was, damn, homie, in high school, you was the man.
Jersey retired,
it's interesting you say that, because because okay, so real quick, a little personal anecdote why I can relate to that experience is because, bro, I used to have a job that everywhere I went, people were like, "Oh wow, tell me more. Oh wow, you work there. Oh wow," and it was like this big thing, right? But when I got married and my wife and I were trying to move to Greece, I quit the job, and then like COVID happened, and I had to, like shit started happening. So the embassy's closed, can't get to Greece. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? I gotta get another job. Well, then you start. I'm not quite where I was, so you start going down the pegging order, right? And I remember like feeling less than because, and this was in the moment, I felt less than because this job that I was at now didn't pamper me, pay me, and like didn't have the status and the like, oh, wow, you work there. It's like, oh, you're a dirty bastard now doing like manual labor shit. But there was a moment of growth between then and now where like that doesn't define you. What you do there and how you are in life defines you. And that's why with your good statistical shit, James Maddison, my definition of you is a pussy because you play like one. You are a pussy. And how am I not supposed to think you're a bitch ass? How am I supposed to, bro, if I put up to the party with James Maddison, he's the kind of dude that watch you get jumped, that don't try and help you out. Oh, we weren't going to win anyway. They're big and bad. Bro, you're my dog. We're riding as a crew. You're supposed to be there. Maybe that's just an American Southern thing. I don't know. But I don't like no pussies in my crew.
Well, the point that you made, yeah, about him potentially being angry or mad about his position and so on getting taken, you can't be mad because he was there when it happened. Like he let the guy snatch his chain in front of him, and he just looked there, didn't even do nothing. He let him walk away. That's what Kulu done. Them two start at the start of the season. It was 2 tenths. We played both of them together, and Ange practically said, "Whichever one of you comes out on top is going to be the guy taking us forward." And that's exactly what happened. After that West Ham game, when Maddis got pulled off at half time, he never looked back since.
we needed Sarr in that because basically what it was, we needed legs for that particular season. We were getting overrun.
This is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Nah. It's not even that, bro. It's like, bro, our two of our three best players play the same position. So you can say Kulu snatched Maddison's cool. That's all cool in it. Kulu just thrives more in this system over Maddison. That's just, it is what it is. He just thrives more.
I think Kulu's a better number 10.
I don't agree personally, but whether you even view one of them better than the other, Maddison does not thrive in this system. Kulu does because he's physical, he can run, and he can roam. Maddison can do his things, but he's not physical, as Jacob was saying.
So if Maddison at Leicester was labeled the 33% guy, but now he comes here, is he just not that kind of guy anymore?
It's not even that. It's more the thing like we need. The problem is that two of our three best players have different profiles in terms of the way they play and how they need a team around them. Kulu fits this kind of style. Maddison doesn't. So yeah, we have to sell one of them. If we
I thought at one point it was Bentancur, Maddison, and Kulu. I thought that midfield, there was a game or two where we looked really good with that, but then Bentancur got racism charges, and then he took a nap on the pitch, and we just don't know what's going on with that wild man.
It's crazy.
He's going to be back. He's going to be back. He's had his concussion protocol. He should be back next week, I think.
Well, rest is important. We all need our rem.
Because even like
that midfield looked really good, but then like Ash said, the problem we had after that, it was when we come up against better teams with good midfields that are a bit more physical, we lack that physical. We lack someone in there covering ground like Sarr, because Bentancur isn't a natural 6. He drifts out of position naturally because he's good on the ball. He likes to progress with play, so he doesn't always sit in that hole like Basuma does. But Basuma, same thing. He likes to progress the ball, so he's not defensively. His positional discipline's not there. We don't have no one really that can play that 6 run. That's impacting the whole midfield.
That's what it
I
is.
do
The midfield
think
isn't
that if we had a very good number 6, you could play with Maddison and Kulu together. But we don't have
because like not every team has to have 11 physical players on the pitch. Like that's just not something that's ever happened. Like Modric isn't physical, but he's lasted this long because you've had players like Cruz and Casemiro and Kadira and players like a general that are tough players come in and support them. That's what Maddison needs. He needs players like that who can support him and allow him to roam and be flamboyant and play the way he plays.
He needs you need a hotline to call at night, Maddison. Oh, yeah, they were real mean to me.
You can say like Maddison's a top 3 player at the club. We're in a position now. We're in a position now where we have players and we're not playing to the best of their ability. Our best players, apart from, I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. I believe Maddison's talent alone. He's a top 3 player of the club.
You know how old Maddison?
But Elijah's not alone in that thinking because
he's talking about talent at 28. You don't talk about talent at that age. The talent's gone, bro. The legs are gone.
How is he gone at 28? Are you Leonardo DiCaprio? What's my talking about 28 is gone? What's he talking about?
Leo DiCaprio's like, oh, James Maddison, you can't get it.
No. We've been seeing, especially in most recent years, especially like you need to look at the way football is now. Players are starting a lot younger, so their careers are naturally fading out a lot sooner. 28 years old, unless again you can play a bit of a deeper role. As a 10, you're never going to thrive in the Premier League. You need to be more physical. You need to keep up with the physicality and the pressure, how fast the players. Like Jacob pointed out, I don't think that Maddison works hard enough on the pitch in the first place. I think that he roams, but he's not roaming in good spaces. I don't even think that he does enough for us when he does get on the ball. He shies away from the responsibility in the big moments. He doesn't want to shoot in the 90th minute. We're waiting for Pedro Porro to try will something up. That's the guy that's trying to make something happen. Let's have a right against Tamworth and all these teams. And I don't even rate him. But Pedro Porro's got more instinctive nature to create something in the final third than Maddison at the moment.
I weirdly agree with that, even though Pedro Porro was doing his best impression of Woody from Toy Story, you know. Oh, Andy's coming. And then he just goes lifeless. But that was just a funny little joke I want to throw in there. Big up to the super chat.
He's just always there. Sorry, my bad though.
Who's always there?
Porro, he's just always he's always up there. He's always up the pitch.
I feel bad, in a sense. Like defensively, he really makes me angry. And I'm a goalkeeper. I played goalie 20 plus years of my life. There's one thing that pissed me off: pussies acting like pussies on the pitch. and a dude who just I don't have a lot of trust in you to defend. So now I'm gonna be cheating off a little this direction to try and compensate, and it's like that can fuck with your goalkeeper. So I see it purely from that aspect of like, I don't trust him defensively. I think Pedro Porro's a fantastic player. I think had we had him with Conte longer, we could have seen even better things than a fucking Emerson Royale wingback, but what do I know? And so I don't think he's a bad player by any means, but when he defensively, I do think he's quite
we see Maddison
atrocious.
at fullback more than Porro. That's the truth. We see Maddison at fullback picking up the ball more than Porro. Porro's already down there. That's the truth of it. He's already down there.
Well, to be fair, the midfielders are asked to fulfill the role whenever the fullback pushes up. So, like, it makes sense that Maddison, as the midfielder, which
we want him to be the creator.
This is the point that I wanted to get to, and then I'll read
that.
the super chat. And I want to hear your opinion on it, Elijah, because I said this, and I don't think either way is the right or the wrong way here. And I'm not saying I'm totally right or wrong here either. But some people's philosophy in life, like Bruce Lee, is to be like water. Adapt to the glass that you're in, and you are the shape of water. Like you are the shape of the vessel you're in, which is, to me, I'm going to equate that to playing up to, how do we make it so James Maddison gets to play good and nice? I don't do that. I am the square peg, and you will be a square peg or you will be broken. And that's how I think Ainge sees it, and maybe that's why I resonate with him. It's more of a, remember the Alamo. I know I'm going to die, but I'm going to stand for something, because I'm not just going to fucking run away like Maddison would at a goddamn party when you're getting jumped. He looks like a dude that would ditch you. Be like, oh, bro, I didn't see, bro. What happened? And it's like, you were right there when I got jumped. Anyway, but I just fail to really feel like, A, he's that great of a player anymore, or B, that he gives a shit anymore about us. And I questioned that when we initially signed him, because I go back to those tweets that he had about Gareth Bale and how much he said he hates Tottenham. And then it's like, we did the whole cheeky thing like with Doherty. Oh, let me delete that. Stupid shit. I'm tired of fucking Arsenal fans coming to Tottenham. And, you know, I'm digressing here a little bit. My point is, I just see, like, you do one thing that's good, and that doesn't mean that I need to alter everything just so you can do that one thing that's good. You should be able to, as a player, be able to fit into this like a multi-purpose tool, not be, notice how many Jed Spence has thrived in all three positions we've asked him to play. One was his natural position. Archie Gray's played 3 or 4 positions, and none has been his natural position, and he's still thrived to whatever degree you rated it, whatever. But the point is, players with the right mentality, they get pushed. Jed Spence has all the reason to be more of a whiny bitch than James Maddison. James Maddison goes on a golf course and they roll out the red carpet. Jed Spence got shipped around, and in the summer, Spurs fans said sell for $6.5 million to Italy, but they can't afford pizza toppings over there, so they can't afford Jed Spence either. And so I just find it like the duality. There was so much bullshit thrown on Jed Spence, on all these other different players that don't get the chance, but yet they show the right mentality, and then now people are changing their tune on. And with James Maddison, I've seen a lot. I was going through the chat, and his scapegoat. He's a scapegoat. I just think he plays like a bitch, and I don't like that, because how can I sit there and complain about Bruno Fernandes playing and ruining the game and doing shit that annoyed the hell out of me for years, and then I see James Maddison doing it in a Tottenham shirt and say, oh yeah, that's fine. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's just me. I don't like players that do that. I think they're pussy. Maybe people do like that because they're trying to win the call. I don't know.
I would say, and I actually comment on this, right? I think against Arsenal, I felt like, coming to Ange a little bit, we were a bit predictable in our setup, especially in the first half. I felt there was times when you can tweak things in game, in my opinion, and I didn't really see much of that when we were trying to build up, if that makes sense. When we're playing out from the back, there should have been a little bit of nuance between the midfield three, in my opinion. They were really narrow. And I felt when it went out to Archie Gray and then it went out to, on the left, Jed Spence, one of the eights or one of the centre mids should pull over to make a triangle. And they should stand basically adjacent or slightly on an off angle just to create a small triangle to help us to beat the press. Because if we can beat the press, then that would give us the space in behind where we could attack Arsenal and counter-attack them a little bit better. But that's the little nuances I wasn't really seeing, where normally you might see, like, as you were saying before, James Maddison play left back. Okay, if James Maddison's playing left back, and let's say, I don't know, Partey was following him. Imagine Partey following James Maddison all the way to left back position. He's going to be pulled out of position. And a number 6 space is going to be opened up where Bergvall could drive into, or Okulu could drive into, or, you know, Dominic Solanke.
I don't think we saw passages of play like that when we were driving through the middle of their midfield. It was because of that we opened them up with like little 1-2 passes, and Bergvall was finding the space to just glide through.
It did happen, but very rarely. So that's what I'm saying. There wasn't a lot of that and I felt like for long periods where we were pinned in, it was because we didn't really switch it up. And so just going back onto what my man was saying, like Elijah was saying, sometimes like just small little nuances, different profiles, people that might see the game a bit different. Yeah, he might not have running power, he might not have physicality, but he might read the game a little bit better. So yeah, you might not see him running up and down, but he might intercept a play. He might intercept a ball rather than tackle a ball. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of running with the ball, he might.
Let me ask you this then:
into the channels. Go on, sorry.
If we could sign a player, that played an 8 role, like a proper 8 role, because ideally
like
that's what should. Would you shift Maddison out of the team? I mean, I'm because I look at Gardner's grade potentially be the 6.
I mean, anyone's droppable. Anyone's droppable in my opinion. Maddison could be.
I just mean with regards to a profile, not with regards to player quality, just the profile of an all action number 8, box to box, someone that can create like the Conor Gallagher move, the type of player we were looking at, someone that's good on the ball. They can create a little bit when they're going forward, but also when it comes to defensive, they're putting the work. Wouldn't you think that profile matches our system a lot better?
Like
if we choose to, if we choose to stick with Ange, if we choose to stick with this process thing, then Maddison can't be part of the team. Like we all agree on that. Like when I
do want to comment on that, because I do agree real quick, because Ainge specifically said, when they said, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a 6, an 8, or a 10? He says, I don't play a midfield with 6, 8s, and 10s. I want 3 midfielders who can do all 3 of the jobs. So in that sense of if Ainge is here in the summer, then one of them have to go, because it doesn't work. Maddison can't do all 3. He clearly is a very one-trick fucking pony, and the other trick that he's got up his sleeves is a fucking jester. He's a clown, a bozo, a fucking fraud, a laughing stock.
Is James Maddison a club signing?
Yes.
And so is Andrew yes man for accepting it?
I would say to a degree we're all yes men. When I sent you the link, you said yes. When I said, hello, how are you doing today? You said yes by replying. When you go to work, your boss says, hey, Ash, be here at this time tomorrow. You say yes. And then on that note, I would say from Ainge, he's coming in, they're paying him millions of dollars. And then you're going to say, hey, we've been trying to get James Maddison, but Conte didn't want him. Do you want him? He's like, yeah, fuck it. James Madison's better than any 10 I had in fucking Celtic. So, yeah, like, to a degree, we're all yes men. So I think it's a weird thing to act like it's a bad thing to say yes to the person who's fucking paying your bills.
I disagree. I think Ange wanted him. Just like Ange wanted
Conte, but we wanted.
Okay, I know we wanted them previously. I know we wanted these players previously, and I know they would have been opposed. Like it would have been given to Ange, just like he said with all the signings. The Ange needs his approval. Now I've gone on record to say that I don't think he's approved Werner, and that Werner's a club signing. But also, I think the first time he accepted it, the second time the club done it. I think with Maddison and Brennan Johnson, the club said, look, we're looking at these players. What do you think of them? Kulusevski was looking, he was playing more on the right side at the time. He hadn't actually played in the middle for us up until, I think, this season or late in last season. So
in this preseason, we were still trying him at false 9, by the way.
Yeah, and that's
we hadn't signed Solanke.
And also at the time, Kulusevski's role wasn't even guaranteed in the team, because when Ange come in, it was, do we trigger his release? Do we trigger the obligation and so on? I think that Maddison was.
I thought we had already done that when we got I was pretty sure that we triggered the clause, then we signed Ainge, because we were still in for Arne Slot when we did.
4 weeks difference, because I think the clause got triggered at the end of July or something like that. And there was some.
I don't think Werner was a Levy signing. I feel like
I think it was when you
he's on 100. He's on 170 bags a week, bro.
That was last year. That was last year. We restructured the deal completely. So the wages and as far as the wage structure payment.
What's he getting paid?
He's still making the same. He didn't get a new contract. I'm just saying our deal with Leipzig specifically changed. So what happened from the 6-month deal, right? the summer, it was 17.5 to activate the clause. Then when we loaned him the second time, now it's a new clause. Now it's 7.5, so it's less than half. And that leads me to believe Levy did this because we restructured the wage breakup. Like far as how much we pay of the 165.
So Levy was Werner, all right, cool. So what about Johnson? Because it's a similar profile. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Johnson, that's where my problem lies. Because he's been all for Johnson. He's played Johnson so much, and Johnson is a similar profile.
He got benched for the North London Derby. He got benched the game before that. I think he's given up on him too.
I don't think he's given up.
I don't think so.
Not giving up. Maybe not giving up is the right word, but he's clearly not the preferred one.
Coming back to Maddison though, like he might have looked.
He definitely wanted Maddison. I think he thought Maddison was going to take.
I think he got on the blower to Maddison. He was on the phone. He was the one that convinced him to come over Newcastle and said, "Look, I'm doing my. You're not going to recognize Tottenham by the time I've finished." Do you know what I'm saying? And Maddison was like, "Yeah, we're going to play some attacking football." He said, "Yeah, all right, I'm going to come."
And you're going to watch from the bench, you sulking sack of sadness.
So what I'm saying is horrible.
Bro, I don't like this little tiny fucking English. He probably has fucking 3 different spoons when he eats dinner. Oh, this one's for the soup, and this one's for the creme brulee, and this one's for dessert, and this fork is a salad fork.
You still don't think
Princess Diaries, motherfucker.
You still don't think Maddison is an Ange signing?
He has to.
No, I think that's, bro, because I always go back to, were we that dog sniffing that turd before he got here or after? Both? Well, that lends me to believe we've always been interested in that stinky pile of poo over there.
But do you think then also Ange is just talking like he's doing the kind of PR when he's like, no player comes in without my say so? All of these players are on me.
I will tell you,
he's trying to act like this is my house when he knows it isn't. He knows, like,
to me,
daddy paid for that rent. It's a mortgage that got given to you, bro. Like, this isn't yours. You never own this stuff, and that's what it is. I think Andrew's come in. He's got a bit of a, he's got a bit of an ego himself, a bit of an arrogance. So he's coming out.
He's a grown ass man.
Yeah, 100%. He's coming out and he's gonna say, "No, these are all my decisions. I behind everything." Just
sorry,
like
he's not a little bitch.
And he's like, he's gonna live or die on that hill.
Bro, 60.
And that's where he's at. I think Andrew's willing to die on the hill that I'm behind everything. This is all behind me.
And this is the type of person he is. I'm gonna read this super chat because I don't want to be rude to the one person who's donated to the channel today, real quick. Big up Time to Dare to Do says, guys, loving your passion. There's too much of it sometimes for my own good. Says, wish our seniors had the same. Been Spurs all my life and never been so pissed off. Do YouTubies think Ainge is delusional? Some do, some don't. Some don't give a shit. I don't think he is. I think everything he said has been factual, and a lot of things get misconstrued, and I look at humanity, I look at humankind and our past. We've always ostracized, criticized, blamed, and attributed all types of things. Oh, she's a witch. Oh, she made this bread was the best bread I've ever fucking had. She's got to be a witch. Oh, she doesn't want to make out with me. She's got to be a witch. It's like, in history, there's always been these figures that don't correlate or coincide or confine themselves to what society or the general mass wants them to be. I believe Ainge is that guy, and this kind of perfectly ties into what you were saying there, Ash and Jordz, about like, what is it about him? To me, I see it. He reminds me a lot of like the people from my dad's generation who are like 60 some years old, because he is like my dad's age. And there's a certain, not my dad specifically, like I said, that motherfucker left when I was 3, but dads from that era, like that boomer dad, it's all you. You don't cry, you don't feel shit, you are nothing. You are a stone that just holds everybody up. So when they say, is that your signing? He's like, not really, but I'm holding this motherfucker up. So yes, and it is a wearing of the shield. That is on me. My child stole a wallet. Now I need to do community service. That's my fault as a father, that I didn't raise him good enough. That mentality is what I think it is. And again, for better or worse, I think that's what the hill is he's going to die or live on. It reminds me of like a fighter who's got that like his whole life, the overhand right is just knock motherfuckers out, no matter who he goes against. So why wouldn't he think that overhand right's gonna work even if he moves up a weight class or 3-4 weight classes in this case? So to me, it makes sense.
Take extra accountability for where he might not have any actual accountability. If you take,
but he has.
That's just flipping the coin, really.
But then he has. He hasn't said, I got it wrong. That was on me. I thought we could have done it this way, but clearly we could not. I thought these were grown-ass men I had on my team. Turns out they're James Maddison pussios.
But how many people are James Maddison pussios, bro? How many on the team?
James Maddison for sure, 110,000 million fucking percent.
I think we got the answer.
Let me ask Jordz, because Jordz got to go. We will for Ash and Elijah. I know it's late for you boys as well. I'll probably end in about 15-20 minutes. I'll just kind of going with the flow here. But big up Jordz, Durag Diaries. Let me take this chat down so you can see his name. It is in the description of this video. If there's 110 people here right now, so if half of y'all go subscribe, he'll hit 1K before he even puts his face on that pillow tonight. So if you want to be a good person, do that. If you don't, live the life you want to live. But you're a bitch. You're James Maddison if you don't want to go subscribe. How about that? I'll say whatever I want. You don't subscribe to Durag Diaries, you're James Maddison in my opinion. But where's your stand? I want to get your last statement. Where are you with James Maddison? Do you think he's a bitch, or are you like, I love that belly flopping 20-minute fucking provider? I've always said after 60 minutes he's useless. After 55, 60 minutes he gives nothing. So starting him to me was it's neither here nor there because I want him subbed at halftime either way.
I'm in between. Like, I understand James Maddison's quality. And I don't write off him as a player. I don't think he's terrible or anything like that. Like, I think in the right team, he can still offer quite a bit. But I just don't think for us that he's what we need. I think that he's not ready to step up in the top 6 of a Premier League team. You know, in Leicester, he was never the best player. Let's have it right. Jamie Vardy carried them through a lot of their time and still does to this day. If you're looking at anyone to get them a win, it's Jamie Vardy because he can create something out of nothing. James Maddison just isn't that guy, and he hasn't been for a while. So
I don't rate Vardy personally. I just don't like racist, but carry on. Fair enough.
But yeah, with James Maddison, I just don't think that he has a future here at Tottenham. I'm willing to part ways and let go this summer. That's where I'm at. I'm with a lot of players because I feel like we're in that space now where we can go to the next level with Ange, or we're just going to be around in this floating area of just being mid-ish to like Europa League. Like, I'm not with that. I'm like, let's replace players and let's replace them ASAP. So Maddison, that's one we need to get rid of and replace. Bissouma needs to get rid of and replace. Pedro Porro. I'd say we need to replace him, but Jed Spence is there and thereabouts. So I'm cool with Spence, you know, potentially just taking over that role if he can grow and continue to build upon these performances, because it's only a few games. But Spurs need to make movements in this January window, and we'll see how serious they are about backing Ange, or even just giving Ange the tools to do the job. Because like you highlighted, right now, Ange is just a mechanic without any tools. And he's been given a goalkeeper. So he's got a spanner. He's not been given nothing else. He just said, bro, make it work with this. So,
and we were all eating it up too. We were like, King's King. I loved the first performance, bro. I love it.
You know what it is? We all thought it, because when you're 3 days into a window and they make moves, they done this last year. This is the thing. They done this last year. When they brought Werner in, and then they brought Jagusin in. This time last year, we had 2 signings in. They kept telling us, you're going to get another one. We're going to get another one. And lo and behold, Spurs, they don't bring no one in. We all know what's going to happen. It's going to be the 31st. They're going to be sniffing around. They're still going to be inquiring about Kolo Muani. That's what's going to happen. He's interim right now.
He's going to be playing for Juve. Yeah, he's going to be kicking a ball at Juve.
Did you guys not see the tweets that were coming out yesterday going, oh, Spurs right till the end, they had interest. They were inquiring. Well, of course we did, because
when the wage,
it was available for free on loan. It was a straight
they said no, PSG said we will cover 100% of his wages. Of course we were in on that deal. A player, and you don't have to pay his wages? All you got to do is pay for the flight to get him out there. It's fucking cheap. So it makes sense. Let me ask you this. You got to go, but big up to Time to Dare to do double on that super chat and said, if you guys had a choice of Eddie Howe for 20 million settlement and a 30 million for a proven 25-year-old player, or 2 times 25 million 17-year-old lads that might be good. I think he ran out of characters there. But I think I understand the question. So would you guys, everyone saying Eddie Howe?
Wait, is this one of the three?
So no, you either get Eddie Howe and a proven player. But it also, that doesn't. So he's basically saying you spend 50 million either way. With this hand, you spend 50 million on Eddie Howe and a Premier League proven 25-year-old. And this 50 you spend on two 17-year-old lads that might be good.
Well, if we're gonna go the Spurs way, we're getting the 17-year-olds, Amy. That's what we've done this summer already. I mean, that's the Spurs model right now. But no, 100. I mean, the Eddie Howe one just it makes too much sense. You're bringing in a manager.
It almost seems, it almost seems, and you're getting a proven player.
Know, to caveat that, if the proven player is 30 million and the prospect's 25 million, I think the proven player might be a bit rubbish. So there might be something to look into that.
Bro, Eddie Howe is worth 50 mil himself, bro.
I'll say this about Eddie Howe. I think he's good. I think he's mad overrated a little bit. He got to a cup final, or no, he got to the semi-final.
Newcastle have a very good team, and people.
They got him a really good team. They took over. They bought some. Bruno Guimaraes is one of the best midfielders, almost underrated midfielders as well. Joe Linton can put in a shift there as well. But like Isak, Gordon.
I know, but look at the other players. I remember Joe Linton. Remember, he was a striker coming to Newcastle. Eddie Howe molded him into a box-to-box kind of midfielder. He didn't come in a midfielder. And then you have to look at players like Livramento, came from Southampton.
If you look at
I saw Joe Linton dropping, because Joe Linton was there before he was there. I saw Joe Linton play on the wing. I saw him play in the midfield.
Yeah, because he was terrible as a striker. He's changed his game.
Yeah, it was Steve Bruce.
But if you look at the rest of the team,
shout out Alan St. Maximin if you know balls, as you know.
Built that rest of that team. All the centre backs at Eddie Howe's. He's got Sven Botman now playing with.
Sven Botman is one we all wanted a few summers prior.
And then he's got on the right Livramento, cold from the Chelsea. Both
Livramento can play left, right, and centre back.
And Lewis Hall. So he's got that back line that he's built fresh, that midfield that he's built fresh. Where they spent
Lewis Hall was a purchase from Chelsea. That's right.
Line, Harvey Barnes, who doesn't really play that much. He's Jacob Murphy, who he's built out.
Harvey Barnes walks into this.
He does want him. But Isak and Gordon. So if we're being honest here, it's not like you can compare them fairly and be like, Anne just bought as many players as Eddie and got.
Oh, I wasn't trying to do that.
He's a good coach. Don't get it twisted.
I wasn't trying to do that. I'm just talking about what Eddie Howe can do in terms of developing players and putting them into, like for example, right? If you take our squad, right, and you take Newcastle squad, right now, very much the whole Newcastle squad wipes us, but that's based on form. Remember last year we almost got Champions League with these same players minus Solanke. We almost got UCL.
Newcastle
football.
had all their injuries last year, innit? So they
we were also playing one game a week at that time as well, and I think that people forget that that's what they're doing this year.
Yeah,
but in terms of quality of players, we have to remember.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I remember this season, Man City took a dive.
Ash is gonna
Arsenal took a dip in form. Players have just taken a dip. Like
dipped in form. I'm gonna listen.
It's my fault. But teams have just taken a dip in form. Like Man City have dipped in form, Arsenal dipped in form, Aston Villa in the league have dipped in form, and it's allowed teams like Nottingham Forest to be second. It's allowed teams like Brighton, and there was a while where there's a bunch of teams like Brentford may have been up there, but the league is a lot more like this for a reason.
Bournemouth is 8.
Of the top teams, some of the top teams like Tottenham and Man City and Arsenal took a dip. Aston Villa, who was made the Champions League, they came 4th last year. In the league, they've dipped. That's just how it's been. So it's allowed other teams to climb up. So that's why everything was jam-packed, especially earlier on.
I would say Newcastle were, when he took over, in the relegation fight.
They were.
And he's taken a team from a relegation fight, 17th, around that area.
Champions League last year.
And he's turned them into a Champions League team. That's something they haven't done in how many years? Do you know what I mean?
That's not Champions League team. They got knocked out in the group stage and they were 4th.
Yeah, but for you,
what would Tottenham have done?
But listen,
Tottenham have done if we got 4th? Same thing.
No, slow down.
We at least get knocked out in the group stage. Elijah, have some shame. We get knocked out in the group stage right after the group stage.
That was my fault. I get the fence.
Get blinded by the Champions League. Don't get blinded by the Champions League. Hear what I'm saying? He's taking a relegation fighting team. Yeah. And he's taking them up the table. Do you understand? So that in itself, for me, has a lot of merit, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
So, like, whether it's Champions League or not, like that for me, that should be enough.
The one thing I will say, really
Gordon, sorry, just real quick. When he got Gordon, I remember Gordon at Everton, mad hardworking, young talent. Yeah, I'm trying to say. And I remember
I didn't like him because I thought he was busted looking. I can't lie.
Yeah, the fan base was split. Gordon's rubbish. Don't bring him to my club.
I was a fool. I judged him on. I judged the book based off of its Rocky cover. Yes.
Right. Newcastle bought him, right? And I think Eddie Howe has done an amazing job with Gordon. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like what
and Lewis Hall, you could argue.
Yeah, of course. But Gordon especially, like the type of player he is right now, people are licking their lips. Even Isaac, he was at Sociedad, he was doing his thing. But I feel like he's taking that Isaac up another notch, in my opinion. And if it wasn't for his hamstrings, Isaac would just be like top teams would be coming for rich. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, sorry, George, go on.
No, I was only just gonna say very briefly. Tactically, there's no comparison. I think Eddie Howe's clears him tactically. I will say that. I got my hands up there. I don't think there's a comparison. How you see in game, he makes a lot of changes and just hands in pockets. We know what's happening.
This is the rebuttal you, Ash, I believe. In his
pockets, bro. Like he must be doing something mad in there, but bro,
it's not Howe versus Ainge. It's PIF versus Enoch group.
Yeah, but the difference is, like Jordz was saying, he's really good at the distances in defending. So when I say distances in defending, sometimes our structure, we're too far away from players. Do you understand? We're not compact enough in team. So I've seen him gone from a back four into a back five. I've seen him go from a 5-4-1 to a 5-5. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen him do into a back five, into a back six at times. Then I've seen him go back into a 3-4-3. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen him play box midfields where he goes from the 4-2-4. Do you know what I'm saying? And he got his education from Simeone. But if you remember him at Bournemouth, when he brought them up as well, because he's got previous.
That was the flaming before,
Yeah, when he had the ball he was playing at Bournemouth was like attacking Ange, where he was playing triangles, plays rotating.
But then he changed when he came to the Premier League because it didn't work, right? Like that was the whole.
He got found out. He got at Bournemouth. He had to learn. And he went away. He did his homework, and that's where he learned that. Like he went to play Madrid, studied. You know what I mean? Came back a new man. So I feel like his education actually is higher up. He's further on in his journey than what Ange is. This is his first.
This is why I hate having discussions with you, Ash, because like your player profiles, you start talking, and I'm like, okay, you make a good point there, and I'm like, hey, he makes another good point there. I'm like, when a likable guy is making good points, I'm just like, all right, I guess he's a good. I said he's a good manager, but damn, I guess I need to he's a great manager, okay, yeah, because these are great things. Like all the context you're providing. Maybe the delivery method. Big up, Jordz. Make sure you always go subscribe to 3 Diaries. Big up, man. Y'all can hear me yell. They're like, we're trying to wrap up the show, and I was like, James Maddison. Great show over there. Great show. Great. Yeah. Wow. Sometimes there's just like a button on a keyboard. It just gets pushed, and I'm gonna make a noise. And but what was I saying, Ash? Oh, you're convincing me. Like if we were saying like, who do you think is better? I would say. Like I rate the championship. I rate players and managers and teams. Like I've watched the championship. I've always kept up with the championship. Like 2-3 years after I kept up with the Premier League was because I was like, oh, this is cool. There's like, oh shit, like you could die, you could get revived, you could like. Then no one explained. In America, no one fucking said, hey man, this is the shits. You're just like, I thought Lionel Messi played in Spain, but you're saying he's playing for Argentina. And it's like, oh, they play. Oh, okay. So there's like, oh, but then why is a German team playing an English team if they're in their own league? It's a whole. No one explains it until you just figure it out. But it's so I see it this way. It's like
the American football. They don't get relegated, do they?
No, they just get the you actually kind of get a little reward if you're the worst. You get the first draft. You get to pick the first player out of college. Yeah. You're the shittiest. Yeah. You get the first pick. There you go. Get the best player.
There's more consequence for like these teams because they could legitimately get bankrupt if they don't
and get liquidated. Yeah, you've seen it's happened. It's scary.
There's so much at stake. Like and Spurs
that's why Americans won't buy into it. Like from a business standpoint, because when I worked in the MLS. I remember being like, you fucking pussies, how dare you be afraid of relegation? And it was like, they're like, well, you know, this is a business and it's we want to make money. We don't want to like go bankrupt in 2 years because we got relegated because our squad was shit. But then it's like, well, yeah, that's why you invest in the club. I don't know.
So going on to that, and knowing that we're joint 14th and we're playing Everton away with a new manager, obviously David Moyes' take back Moisey ball. There is a feeling in the Spurs community that we could drop points, and if we drop any more points against Everton, we hope we don't, because we've got our boy Richie back, and hopefully he bangs a couple goals coming off the bench, and he does his thing. But I'm just saying,
my drunk friend might be able to take us home.
I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario, it could happen where we don't get the 3 points that we need to kind of push us back up the table, and then all of a sudden, you know, Palace are playing. Who they got? West Ham? No, Ipswich.
I'll look right now. So Palace, we're tied on points right now. Those tricky Eagle. Oh, you tricky Selhurst Park fucking janitor entrance. What kind of shit is this? That's where we're hanging out with? You got to enter the stadium through the janitor's entrance? Anyway, they have up next West Ham.
Yeah, they're playing Potter. So they're playing Potter. So it's are they home or away?
I believe West Ham is at home.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
That's a little bit more of a.
That's a bit more reassuring because
breathe a bit easier.
Because if Palace,
it's at West Ham's.
If they somehow wriggle their way out of it and won that game, then all of a sudden the conversation
and directly below Crystal Palace is Everton.
No.
The reason why I bring it up is because you said, you know, the business, you know, it's about business. It's different because you're like, what do you mean about business? Blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you talking about? But at the end of the day, Tottenham is as much as it's our club, we love it. It's a football club, but they see it as a business, and they know if they keep dropping underneath, they keep dropping down, ultimately it might affect their pockets. Like league position may affect their pockets somehow, some way. So they might have to do a business decision and should be in serious like trouble. I know they've come out and they backed it and they said like he's safe and whatnot, but this team, Everton.
So I saw I didn't hear that news. Can you break that to me? Because I saw Weird Tottenham TV's thumbnail or whatever that was like Tottenham back or Ainge has Tottenham support or something like that. And I was like, cool. I didn't know if it was old or relevant or what, but I didn't like see anything on Twitter. Like, what was it? Did Daniel Levy go, it's all good, y'all?
Yeah, it was pretty much.
David Ornstein reported it, right? Like, at
it's
the
always
of
some
January,
fucking envelope.
David Ornstein reported that the board like backs him, but
but that was before the North London Derby.
But they came out. They came out again after that, and they said there's still 100.
That's what I thought. It sounded like there was something new. I don't know. I'm not.
I didn't know
my
that.
toes aren't in the.
Obviously, we lost against we lost again, right? So, but they just came out again and they reiterated that they're still behind them 100%. But if like Arsenal, let's face it, as I said before, we had 6 debutants at the North London Derby, and a lot of them were young. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't. So, but against Everton, I think there's a different expectation where this is where we need to start winning. Like, regardless of how we win or the style, 3 points, we need to start picking it back up to get up the table. And if we drop points again, then the conversation becomes a little bit different. Do you know what I'm saying? Heading into I think it's Leicester after that, because we play Everton, then we got Leicester, and then I think the game after that maybe. I don't know if it's Ipswich next or not, but basically they're winnable games. But if we start dropping points along this way,
I think if you don't get 3 points versus Everton, fuck it, dude, sack him. I don't care. Like, I believe in him, but like, what the fuck do I know? Is kind of how I see it. That's why when people are like, "Oh, you're such a fool for believing in this or thinking he's going to do this," it's like
Brentford
doesn't really matter.
It's Everton, Leicester, and Brentford. So between our next 3 games, we need to pick up. I would say at least.
And it's Brentford away.
7 minimum. 7 minimum.
If we're like, come on, like we are big. We are a big club.
We beat them 4-0. We should be able to at least beat them by any margin.
Right.
Like
So
no excuses.
Everton
And,
at
and
home
there's a
is
notion that I
different.
want to pick. I want to say something too, real quick, because I do agree. When you look at the table right now, I don't think even with our injuries, with that starting 11 we had versus Arsenal, that squad to me isn't a 15th place squad, no matter what club that they're all on. So like,
Yeah.
I hear it. I hear the argument. That's why all I've ever done is just push back when people push. And for some reason, that makes me a cult member, and it's cool because again, if you're not in the cult, if you don't know, you probably didn't get the memo because you're too ugly. If you're not in the cult, it's because we didn't invite you because you're not pretty enough. So there's the stipulations. Very, very superficial, surface level stuff we do at that. What is it, the Ainge cult or whatever they called it? But my point is, like, I've always said that if this trend continues of not 3 points and no consistency in the 3 points, then something is not right and you have to change. Whether that's, what direction does the club want to do? Do they want to admit that they got it wrong with Ainge and then invest in a new? We don't have a contingency plan. You could say turd zitch all you want, but I ain't buying no turd bitch. That's the German schnitzel version of Pochettino. I don't want him either. But to me, I just see it like it is what it is. We're in a cup, close to a cup final. We're alive in a couple of the competitions. But when I say I would like to, I'm fine finishing mid-table, 14th, 15th. That's not mid-table. That's bottom 75% or upper 75%, whichever way you want to view it mathematically. That is in the percentile of not middle. So it is now the league is dropping to a point where for me, even because, like Deji Spurs, shout out Deji. Make sure you subscribe to Deji, one of my favorite Spurs content creators. I don't agree with him on everything. And one of the things we disagree on is he says, I have standards. 13th in a Carabao Cup won't do it for me. I'll tell you right now, I'll do it. I will do it right now. But that's guaranteeing, right, that you get the trophy. So it's like to maintain a shitty league record while it's challenging for this actual trophy. Like, how do you do that? In my opinion, if Ten Hag could do it, anyone should be able to.
Do you know what the concern is? And Elijah, you can jump in if you want. Pause. But yeah, I don't know. Does Kulusevski, sign a new contract if we're not in Europe? Like, does Romero extend his contract if we're not in Europe? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
He wants to leave.
Okay, so all right, cool. I mean, I'm talking about other players then that people hold in high regards, like our best players. Are they going to start questioning if is Tottenham the right club for them? And if we can't keep hold of those type of players, how do we expect to build on what we already have? We can't afford to lose top quality players. So I think that's where the concerns start to seep in when we're not in the right part of the table, when we're not pushing up the top six, kind of like, we're not in that type of run. Because I think those players, when they first came, they were like, this is a Champions League club and we're going to be minimum in Champions League. Because every player, that's their minimum.
What they want to do.
That's what they want to, like. I know as a fan, like some fans would argue like, we've seen Champions League, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Champions League, I prefer cups. But for some of these players, they want to be in the Champions League. When they go to Copa de America and their mates are in Champions League and they're having those conversations, they're like, brother, what for you? Tottenham, you know what I'm saying?
Especially Kulu, the captain of Sweden, he has to be in. If he's supposed to be the captain, the guy in Sweden, he's got to be at that top kind of stage, isn't it?
So
that's how it goes.
These are the type of questions the agents will be asking as well. It's not even just the players. The agents will be like, nah, bro, you're the best in the world, bro. What's going on here? This club's not moving in the right direction. They're no longer signing the players also. So sometimes, yes, a cup is important to us because we haven't had it for such a long time. But the problem is, I think rival fans get into a lot of our heads at times. I know it's not always the case because some people are strong-minded and they don't care what other people think, blah, blah, blah. And we want a cup because ultimately you support Spurs and you support a club because you want to win things, ultimately. But at the same time, when you start to move away and you're no longer in those Champions League places, players are starting to look at it like, not fan, they're looking at it from
seeing Jed Spence after the derby yesterday, I the same thing thought. Like, how long does he actually even want to fight? Like, because he came in with a point to prove, right? He was on the outskirts of this club. Everyone, Ainge even shipped him out and then had him back and then said, fuck it, here you go. Here's a chance. And to me, I say, and I have said, Jed Spence saved Ainge's job in my eyes versus Coventry. We were losing and we were shit for 88 minutes of that. Jed Spence comes on in 85 and he changes the game. And he, to me, at that point, he saved Ainge's job. And I said, fuck it, we ball, let's move. So I ran with it. And then it's like, how much guys like Jed, guys like Van de Veen, Destiny, Romero even, I mean, Pedro Porro, they're getting talked about with Real Madrid. And there's a point that I go back to. Harry Kane. I said this on a rival show the other day or yesterday about it. I said, this club does something to you when you get here. There's a reason Basuma at Brighton, I was like, that is the best thing since sliced bread that I've seen in a long time. That guy's a motherfucker. We get him, and then we got Balloon Head. And I don't know what happened. Or are we the dealer or are we the supplier? We hired. And to me, I just see it like, and I'm trying to get this out real quick because I just realized how late it is. I'm so late for work, but my boss can hold that. So I see it as fuck. Ash, help me out. Where was I at? Because I just started thinking about work for a second.
Spence, and then we talk about Basuma.
Right.
Yeah. Like
these players,
and then he's come here and it's down to.
They come here, and this environment is like Manny Petty spa. You get a robe, you get your own slippers, and there's a lady massaging you, and then there's one with the camera like, oh, tell me your favorite phone backgrounds. Oh, who's your famous caller? And it's like all this shit, right? And you're like, well, this doesn't really feel like I'm fucking going to work. I'm kind of just being pampered all day. You do years of that, you get Eric Dyers. I don't even want to put Ben Davies in the same category. You get Eric Dyers because you get these players that put their feet up, then they go on camera and they laugh and they mock us. Or you get a player that's like, yeah, I want to go fucking win shit. I want to play in Champions League. I have a mentality of I'm trying to win right now. Whereas Tottenham is, did we make money though?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. One thing I wanted to bring up, because I see that most people don't really mention it too much. And it's the building of the stadium. It's like we're so similar in terms of Arsenal when they moved to the Emirates. And obviously their quote-unquote banter era lasted probably longer than it should have. But what did Arsenal do when they built the stadium? They sold a lot of players. They lowered the wage bill. They tried to rely on younger players to step up. And even with this Arteta system, they didn't go out and buy world-class players, really. Like, they bought some good players, but it's really the ascendance of Saka and Saliba and Odegaard and players like that. And yes, Arsenal haven't won anything, and we love that Arteta is still in the job because as long as he's there, they won't win. But in terms of recruitment and in terms of what we want to do and in terms of where we're at right now, a big stadium has been built, a big-ass stadium, and that stadium requires paying off. And our Levy wants to build hotels. And yeah, we can question... It's not really a question, but we can question Levy's ambition for the club. But in terms of signing players, recruiting players, I personally think that a youth project is probably what we'd end up having to do if we want success, really, because we're not going to go out and sign world-class players. We're not going to do it. It was already hard enough to do that
but
before.
Then those youth players are just going to sign for Real Madrid like Gareth Bale did. We've been doing that. That's how we got Gareth Bale. Now. Oh, he's a good, bright young player at Southampton. Get him, nurture him for a few years, and he naturally just blossoms into the best United Kingdom player ever.
I agree with you, but the difference between Gareth Bale and what we're seeing with Arsenal right now is that Arsenal are challenging for leagues, whereas Tottenham, with Gareth Bale's prime, wasn't. They were champion. They were going for Champions League.
Hey, we did beat Inter 3-0. Come on, I was a fan.
We beat Inter 3-0, sure, but in terms of competing for the league, even Arsenal are joke men in Champions League anyway, but they're competing for the league. You know what I'm saying? That's really the difference. Like, Saliba, they've gotten lucky in sense of Saka's blossomed into what he is, and Odegaard and Saliba. Plus, they have great talent around them that aren't necessarily world class, but they are great talent, such as Gabriel.
Personally, I think Gabriel's better than Saliba.
Even if you say Gabriel's better than Saliba, them together.
I think I just like that style of defender more.
Which is fair enough.
That's what
it's like Poch's Spurs, isn't it? It's like Poch's Spurs, where everything has come together at the same time and they can compete. But you have to take into account that they did that after building the stadium, and they brought young players and meshed them with older players, such as like Partey, for example, Trossard, Havertz, which is shit, but he's still a player that has.
Well, Trossard was their backup
level.
plan. Trossard was their plan B because they couldn't get Mudryk for 80 million or whatever it was, which is hilarious in retrospect. I'm gonna read out the super chat. Big up Jerome from my brother from Down Under says, "Let me ask you this question and be honest. Where would you be with the previous managers if Kane weren't there? Kane and Son's goals weren't there, bailing us out." Yeah. For me, we would be mid-table or exactly where we are right now, which to me, again, I just want to differentiate where we're at right now is not mid-table. When I said I want mid-table in a Carabao Cup, I'm fine being mid-table in a Carabao Cup and just give me that damn cup. We're a little bit below kind of what I would accept. So I agree with the notion that if you don't start getting points, the 3 next matches that Ash mentioned, each one of them, we should get 9. I will be okay with 7. 5, no. No, a win and 2 draws ain't gonna do it for me, because 5 points is not gonna even fucking do shit in the fucking table right now. Really, like if we got 5 points and everyone just stopped playing and only us played and we got 5 points, we would jump to 10th, well 11th behind Fulham because they're 6 points ahead of us. So to me, 7 points or 9 points. Anything less, then you know it is what it is. But I absolutely feel as though like we should. I thought it was going to start this weekend. I thought Arsenal, the embarrassment of Tamworth were kind of like upward trajectory. So Jerome, to answer your question, I think they've carried us for years and we've just rode that goose because it had golden eggs, and now then half the goose, the head of the goose is gone. It went to Bundesliga and said, oh wow, when we lose it's not okay. That's weird. My whole life I was able to lose and no one was pissed off at me at the office. But he goes to Bayern, he loses everywhere he goes. Fuck you. I ain't making you schnitzel. I ain't giving you lederhosen. I don't know what they do out there, but it's my assumption you're just getting schnitzel and lederhosen and bratwurst, and you know, they're probably just not being nice to him because they lost. And if he was a part of it, like that is the expectation there. The expectation here is, oh, just get top 4, if not sack the manager. And to me, that breeds the same kind of shit mentality that not being a good team brings you in regards to recruitment. So back to Ash's point of, if we're failing to get to Champions League, these players want to play there, they're going to leave to go play that. Think about it. You can go play at Celtic and play in Champions League, etc. There's plenty of places you can go play in Champions League, but like Champions League at a top club, there's a very small window that very few players get. So it makes sense that they would be heavily inclined. Like when Real Madrid really started sniffing around Romero, he started not playing that well.
What player?
Pedro Porro, same thing.
What player would you guys say?
Big up Jerome for the super chat.
What player would you say would change the course of the season? Like, what does Ange need now to kind of like make a difference? If it was 2 positions,
I don't think there is a player. I don't think there is one.
You don't think there's no positions? You'd say that.
I do.
I don't think there's a player. I don't think there's a specific player that can come in that really helps us season now. In my opinion, I feel like the tactics need to change. That's what I think needs to happen.
Okay.
I don't really see it.
That's fair.
I don't really see
I mean, how can I sit here and be like, no, you're wrong. The tactic, bro. Look. The West Ham minus 14. West Ham minus 14 is 2 points above us. That shit blows my fucking mind. The mathematical possibilities of that with us at a plus 11, like for that to happen, bro, it's like you said at the roulette table, give me 7 black, and it lands 7 black twice in a row. And, you know, it's fucking absurd. Yeah. And so clearly there's something like I could say, you know, this game, it's the players that let the tactics down. This game, and I could do that all fucking day. But the point of the matter is we are where we are right now. None of that talk of anybody's is going to change what happened or how we got here. The only thing that matters is what the fuck is going to happen from here on out. That's what I don't know. I feel like we're in the downfall. That's why I named the show The Downfall. And I'm glad that it was not just Jacob Talks vibes from the day after, because I'd have been rambling talking about God knows what to just not think about the feelings I feel. But having Ash, Elijah, and having Jordz on earlier, honestly, it is like therapy. I had a comment up earlier that said it's been like therapy. Big up Time to Dare to Do also with the 3rd super chat. You've been the big sponsor tonight as well. Appreciate that. It says, cheers, guys. It's been refreshing hearing your thoughts. Definitely aligned with my thoughts. And look, like, I'll always say it this way, even though some people want to have a go at me. I have a go back, and they go, "Oh no, he's so mean. Oh, Jacob is so mean to me. Oh, did you see Jacob in that chat? The guy had to tell Jacob don't be so mean in my chat. Shut the fuck up. Quit being James Maddison. That's what I'm stop saying. You acting like Maddison on the floor right now. That's gonna be my new diss.
Again, bro. Take the earphones out again, man.
But I do gotta wrap up. I'm late for work. My wife is probably upset with me too because I can't give her a break before I go to work. A yellow card. I get a yellow card. Do you have a blue one?
Write them down. Write my book.
You might see Basuma there already. Basuma's already there, fam.
I don't want to be mean to Basuma, but it is one of the worst stocks. Like, so I invest stocks in players, not like the actual, like there's an app for that stuff. Like mentally and verbally and publicly, I say things about players because I'm like, I think this motherfucker's a baller. Ash, do you have any of my stock players that have just, it's kind of funny now? There's one that like.
I think Basuma was one where quite a few fans were just jubilant about because we needed.
I have a number 38 Basuma shirt in my closet. That's how fucking excited I was. I got a stupid 38 shirt.
You're not the only one. Not me though. Not me. But you're not the only one. Trust me.
It's cool. When I was a kid, I had an Andros Townsend jersey, man. We've all been there, man. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, that's probably the worst one in my collection. I'll be honest, because I'm very picky when it comes to. And you know what? I was like, Destiny had such a good year. There's no way he's not gonna be continually like in the top 5 left backs and I got his shirt this year, and so maybe it's me. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm the dirty sock, the unlucky sock in the back of the car or something. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm a diva, but I've always had my own name on the back of my shirt. I don't know what it is, bro. From young as well.
I would say that's not a diva.
You got an
that's
ego like Ange, bro.
conceited.
You know what I'm saying? You got that Ange ego. Old one.
I used to be like that as well. Like in video games, you create a player or something. I'd always put Jacob Wallraven. It's me. But I reached a point where I was like, bro, I'm not gonna that's just weird to play me in a game. So then I just was like, all right, I'm gonna call him John Stay Moist. And then I ran with that.
I had the name, but I'm not gonna say the name because you might get demonetized, bro. Like that.
Say it, bro. First of all, I say fuck, shit, I curse. I don't like.
I'm gonna text it to you later, man. I'm gonna text it to you later, bro. Don't worry,
my actual PlayStation name is John Stay Moist _. So if you want to add me on PlayStation, John Stay Moist. No, it's not John Stamos. It's John Stay Moist. All right, talk to me nicely or don't talk at all.
Stay moist with you though, man. You know what I'm saying? We might just have to be in the party together, but that plus sign gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this. This entire stream, I've been slightly moist all around my areas. So you've been moist with Jacob. That's what you get. And that's going to do it for the show. Make sure you subscribe to Ash Maddock at Spurs Geek TV. You can catch me there. That's 2 yellows.
That's 2 yellows. That's red, man.
That's 2. No, I'm out of here. Yes, I'm going to argue my point as I say goodbye. And I say thank you to the people who donated. Real quick, big up to the sponsors. Time to dare to do. Faz Radfar 4-1 Spurs says Matters can be a toxic person when unhappy. I don't think I read that out. So big up Faz Radfar, always with the 4-1 prediction. Callum Roche with a dono as well, and Jerome with the big Australian 20 bonos. I love to see it. And then Time to Dare wrapping it all up nice with a bow. I do appreciate that. But like MK Dave says, dry is bad, all right? You always want that thing nice and slippery. Big up Box Office. Hopefully get you on soon and we can discuss very, very soon. But look, Tottenham Hotspur, we got to be better. I hope we will be better. I don't think we will be better anymore, but I hope we will. Because you know what? To me, when I support a team, I support them. When they're good, when they're bad, I support them to hope that they will turn it around. I will also, like my kids, I support my kids, but you act like a little brat, I'm going to give you a little spanking, a little bad. No. All right? I grew up in the 90s. My mom had a fucking wooden big ass like cutting board shit, and she would smack. I mean, she was a single mom with 3 Tasmanian devil children, so she hit you with that thing. Oh, it was fantastic. Taught you a lot. You learn a lot when you're like throbbing. So but anyway, Ash, thank you so much. Are you live anytime soon? Is there anything you want to like plug or anything like that?
Tuesday we go again.
I thought you did Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, we did the Wednesday yesterday. Yeah, today's Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Today's
Friday.
Thursday. Okay. Yeah, that's how days work. You know, one ends, the other begins. Cool. So you're back on Thursday, and that's it. Nothing else you don't want to say? Like you're going to the oily muscle flexing show this weekend to show off the muscles, or no?
Nah,
Diddy
man.
oil, fam.
Watch. If he turns off his camera, you see his photo, and you're like, what is that? Oh, that's Ash's back. Oh, because he's ripped like that. And my back don't look like that. I'll tell you. I actually don't know what my back looks like, which is maybe a good thing. Elijah, anything? Actually, you do have a video. I want people to go. There it is. See, yeah, there it is. Don't play with. Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. If you got it like that, bro, flaunt it like that. Cause I don't. And if I did, well, you know how I'll be talking.
Just let me eat you one time. Just let me eat you one time. And I guarantee you're gonna ask me to stay to your house. You're gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make you cry.
How you gonna show us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Anyway, that's the show. But Elijah's got a video on Too Much of E out right now. And he has one of my clips where I'm yelling. And I was listening to it. I was like, God damn, I sound fucking angry. But then I love that he cuts to a shot of himself. And he's like, if you know Jacob a little bit better than the surface level, you'll understand why he's saying it's not malicious. He's just talking his shit.
Yeah.
And
my SNN news, man. I'm gonna be lurking in everybody's streams, getting clips. So you lot better be ready, you lot better be ready, man. My Spurs news channel, man. I don't see no one else doing it, so I'm gonna be that guy, man.
Spurs social media YouTuber reporter.
Pretty much, I'm the Keemstar of the Tottenham YouTube, man. That's what I'm gonna be, man.
He's also you're like a little comedic relief, because I don't know if anyone else finds you as funny as I do. I know I find you funny because like you're like a little pressure valve, you know. I was scared to turn on Spurs YouTube today. I'm in my living room and with my kids, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to something while I'm playing or whatever. And so I was like, oh look, Elijah's got a video. Oh, that might be a nice little get open. You know, you open the door, you're like, hey everyone, how you doing? And it's like, oh okay, and then you close it. I was like, okay, it was kind of nice. So thank you. It's a great channel. Make sure you're subscribed. A great gentleman as well. So great friend of the channel, as is Ash and Jordz. In the description is their channels. And thank you to everyone who has been here. Even if you weren't a sponsor, you were still supporting the channel, and that shit means something to me. Whether you agree or disagree, at the end of the day, it's all about who gives a fuck what it's about, huh? It's about whatever you want it to be about. Because if you don't talk to me nicely, don't talk to me at all. If you don't call me daddy, then don't call me daddy. You want to call me daddy, then call me daddy. Like Holland calls Ben Davies daddy.
I call you Daddy Davies when I see you play on TV.
Daddy Davies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did
you say? Is that okay?
Yeah. You like that? Can I call you Daddy all the time?
If you want.
To be fair, that was Holland versus Tottenham, to be fair. Not doing nothing, bro. But hey.
That's what I said. It's like, look, I found Holland talking. To this day, Erling Haaland, career goals versus Ben Davies. 0. What a loser. Anyway, that's going to do it for the show. I said that about 5 times. Thank you so much. If you haven't liked, subscribed, shared the video and all that stuff, you're probably not going to anyway. So who gives a shit? But if you do, know that it helps the channel, and we do appreciate it very much. And by we, I mean me and Chewy. He's here. He's in the dark. But anyway, that'll do it. As always, folks, stay blessed, stay fresh, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others, or go fuck yourself. You see, I added those two, stay blessed, and then I was like, be kind to yourself and others. You know, and if you don't want to be kind to yourself or others, then I guess you won't mind if I'm not kind to you. Hence why I say go fuck yourself. Be kind to yourself and then others, and then, you know, guess what? Others are kind to you. It's funny how reciprocal it could be. Anyway, come on, you Spurs, up the lads. Oh, wait, up the lads. Come on, you Spurs.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.